This maid was unbelievably skilled. She could catch a live grenade with one hand, and wouldn't even glance back when it exploded. She had no hesitation pulling the trigger in the middle of the street. Meanwhile, Nagomi, who had just gone through all this, was still in shock. After a night's sleep, she woke to find Renko stitching up her own wounds, which pushed Nagomi even closer to a breakdown. No one else seemed fazed. The cafe was open for business as usual, and the staff acted as though nothing had happened. But now, every time Nagomi saw the color red, she was reminded of Renko firing her gun, as if last night's shootout had happened just moments ago. The other employees noticed her poor mental state, and suggested she take a walk outside. In reality, taking a walk meant going out to hand out flyers. Nagomi was in no condition to deal with people, and no one paid attention to her. Suddenly, she realized this was the perfect chance to escape, but almost immediately, she was surrounded by several maids who yelled at her, telling her not to hand out flyers on their turf, or they would kill her. It turned out small cafes like theirs had no right to hand out flyers in the busy shopping district, so Nagomi went to a deserted alley instead. There, she met another maid who had been through the same struggles. The maid told her that in such a competitive environment, violence was unavoidable, but as long as she could wear the maid uniform, she was content. Nagomi felt a small spark of warmth from those words, and the desire to keep wearing the uniform reignited her spirit. When she returned, however, the manager announced the cafe was shutting down. She told Renko to close out the day's earnings. Everyone was shocked, and kept asking the manager what had happened. The manager finally explained. That morning, the debt collector had taken her to play golf. Only, she was the one being hit. Her original plan had been to send Nagomi to another cafe to get herself killed, then use the incident as an excuse to cause trouble. But unexpectedly, Nagomi and the others had destroyed both the rival cafe and its staff. Her scheme had failed, and the promise to delay payment was now worthless. If she didn't pay today, the next golf swing would be aimed at her head. Desperate to gather money, she tried taking out a loan. Even after putting the cafe up as collateral, she couldn't raise enough. Following her boss's suggestion, she went to the maid casino, hoping to win big. Instead, she lost everything. Trying to calm herself, she told the others that at least she was still alive. The rest of the staff felt the cafe was more important than their own lives, and this was the real reason for its closure. The manager then took out the day's earnings, planning to use it as their stake. Under her lead, they all headed to the maid casino. Each employee was given betting money. They intended to win back enough to save the cafe. The manager, however, had no stake for herself. On the other side, the boss who owned both the casino and the loan shark business spotted them. He had assumed they were broke, but when he noticed Nagomi, he suddenly came up with a new idea. Meanwhile, the others began playing their own games, and were all winning big. It was the classic lose first, win later trick. By now, they had already made enough to buy the cafe back. Nagomi was ready to quit, but the manager refused. Seeing everyone else win, she insisted on trying too. As expected, she lost all the money Nagomi had just won. The group thought the manager was hopeless. Then the boss approached with a suggestion, a high-stakes poker game. They had no money left, so he offered another option, betting their future. Nagomi asked what that meant, and just then, a girl in a cage was dragged past, pleading for help. Nagomi wanted to refuse, but the manager decided to go all in. The others agreed. With the cafe gone, there was nothing left to lose. Unsurprisingly, the manager's future was the least valuable. The most valuable belonged to Nagomi. In poker, reading your opponent was everything. The other maids cheered from the sidelines. It was time to reveal the cards. One of the employees didn't understand poker at all, and lost in the first round. Next up were the manager and